Danny Lucian taken out straight away here by Karont3. We know how strong that lane is right now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it picked last game and actually losing in the end, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised to see it banned out, though, just because it is really, really dangerous. And in many ways, it's props to playing against it last game without ending up very, very dead. Both Zyra and Ezreal, though, are pretty much king counter-engages running away from that huge burst. Mensch, obviously, came out a little bit behind of the lane, but no huge problems for them.
Well, final ban here for Karont3 was Evelynn. We'll move a bit quickly on this one. Evelynn, we all know how strong she is, especially since it's really hard to just see her wherever she is these days with how the changes have come in with 3.14. On the other side, Jarvan the Fourth, Kha'Zix, and Lee Sin taken away here. They're, for me, all right now very strong jungle picks. We've been hearing that Kha'Zix in the jungle in 3.14 is extremely strong.
Yeah, well, he has always been having a bit of a difficult time in the lane, especially since they nerfed the W to make him less of a kind of ranged caster champion. So yeah, with the extra gold he now can get from that jungle, he makes a really, really strong ganking jungler, because obviously in a 2-on-1 situation, you're going to run away from the creeps. That isolates you, that increases Kha'Zix's damage. Kha'Zix's? Whatever. So increases his damage, makes him even more scary. And I do actually also want to mention, Amazing mentioned he doesn't actually fear Evelynn so much as fear specific players playing Evelynn.
Yeah, people like Diamond have kind of brought that fear to everyone, I think. Let's move through the picks here a bit quicker because we are coming, seeing them all come down quickly. At least Zyra, Kennen picked up now. Kennen for Jimbones, AD Kennen, is something that we have seen him play in the past. On the other side, Renekton and Shyvana now. Renekton and Shyvana, for me, are two extremely strong champions right now that I almost am surprised that they went through this far.
Yeah, Renekton is probably the most versatile top laner. He can lane against anyone, and at the very least come out okay.
Yeah.
Shyvana is actually one of his kind of counters at the moment, though. So it's interesting they chose to take both of those away at once, and also have got Kautar'd his Kassadin, which is a scary prospect.
Yeah, also likes himself a bit of Zyra in that mid lane, which of course was already taken away earlier on by Karont3, but they added in that Caitlyn in there as well for Forgiven. Now the whole Copenhagen Wolves team, Intel Extreme Masters Cologne obviously is where we're really looking at their performances. They were incredibly strong, and I think sent out a few messages to those three teams that we're basically looking at here, and I'm sure are watching carefully at home: Ninjas in Pajamas, SK Gaming, and Meet Your Makers, because they're going to have to be playing 3 out of these teams that we're going through here in this group stage.
And they choose. I think it's
NIP get first pick, SK get second pick, and Meet Your Makers play the last team that's left from that one. So I think it's really obviously NIP and SK that have got to do more deliberation here. So who do we pick from this one? Do you pick Copenhagen Wolves for your chance in next season? Probably not.
Well, I mean, you never know how things will go. I mean, this is best of one.
True.
So
yeah.
Swordsman you've never seen before, whatever it was. Metaphors, they just vanish. But obviously, there is just that potential to get, straight up cheesed. That is a serious possibility, especially if there's some aspect of the new patch that people haven't realized. Maybe for some reason that push composition we saw on Reddit like a year ago or so that just takes towers and gets a 5-minute inhib. Maybe that suddenly becomes viable, or some strange thing like that. Because if you don't know how to react to something you've never seen it before, it's really, really difficult.
Well, final 2 picks here for Karont3 were Zed and Malphite. So Malphite for this top lane, Zed for the mid lane for Neptuno going up against Kassadin. What do we think about that one?
Well, difficult matchup essentially for Kassadin. But I know the Copenhagen Wolves do love to do quite a lot of little 1v2 swap-ups. They have got Renekton in this team composition. They have a very, very strong 1v2 laner, and they have a very, very strong 1v2 supporting jungler in the form of Shyvana. Excellent wave clear, supports with ganks as well, has a lot of damage. That could be a potential option for them. See if they do choose to do that or not. It may just be that Kautar'd feels confident enough in his Kassadin.
Well, we saw him at Intel Extreme Masters against SK, playing the Riven versus Kassadin matchup, which we were like, he is going to get dumped on in lane. And funnily enough, Karont3 managed to actually win that lane out. Whether that was Jesus having a bit of a bad day or what have you on Riven will leave to be seen. And then also Fiddlesticks was the final pick here, which, you know, is a good pick for me against this Zed. The fear, the silence that you can put onto him once he goes in. I mean, we all know how strong the Fiddlesticks fear is right now. It's pretty deadly.
It just seems to go on and on forever. And it's even worse because you're not in control. Your character is still acting, but you don't choose where you go, which sometimes actually works in your favor because you just carry on going wherever you were going. But it's a really, really horrible feeling being feared.
I'd actually like it to make you dance a little bit like Sona's Crescendo, you know, because then you would see its proper duration. Because while you're still walking around, you sometimes lose track of it. But if you were just stood there dancing for what is like 3 seconds in the middle of a fight, that would be quite hilarious to see. But Karont3 versus the Copenhagen Wolves, their first game here in this group stage. We've got a lot of games to come your way. Obviously, 4 more, including this one tonight, 5 tomorrow, and then 5 Saturday as well. And the top 3 teams will go through into the promotion tournament, which will be in Cologne. And talking of that, in less than 2 hours, because I don't know exactly what time it is, but it's past 7 o'clock, at 9 p.m. Central European time, they're actually going to start selling tickets. I just saw the LoL Esports Twitter talking about that one, and I believe they'll be selling them over on lolesports.com. So if you want to get yourselves to Cologne, or if you want to see the one in North America, then you should make sure that you keep your eyes peeled, because something tells me those tickets aren't going to be around very long.
I think anyone who is really a fan, because any of the potential matchups that we could see, you know, NLP, SK, whoever they choose to pick in the end, there are several possible results from that matchup. I mean, you can't call essentially something like SK versus Copenhagen Wolves. You just can't. They're very, very strong teams, but they are also less than consistent. Actually, SK particularly, they're a relatively new lineup. They may have improved since last time. It's just so important.
So here we go then. We're into game number 2 of the night, and it is going to be Karont3 taking on the Copenhagen Wolves. Now, level 1 here, we've got a few danger points, I guess, to really factor into this one. The Zyra grasping roots, I think, looking across the board, could be the scariest of them all.
Yeah, another thing to note, though, is actually Dark Wind is an incredibly powerful level 1 skill.
This is true.
It bounces across your whole team. That's almost more damage. I hesitate to say it's more damage than any other character can do, because obviously AoE could hit everyone, but inconceivably actually hitting everyone, Fiddlesticks Dark Wind, really, really strong ability level 1.
So Karont3 at this point headed up towards that top side tri-bush. We see Malphite down in the bottom. So we already see signs of a lane swap coming in here, looking like Jimbones and Tremnek on Zyra will be headed off towards the top side of the map, with Dragon taking the bottom lane. Dragon in the bottom lane. That's going to be coming back to haunt me, I'm sure, a little bit later on in the game. A couple of early wards going down there. We can see that everyone, apart from the jungler, amazing over with Copenhagen Wolves, going for the wards, and he's gone with the sweeping lens here to make sure that he can clear out on his route to gank.
So conceivably in this game, we could have Amazing using Dragon's Descent on Dragon to stop him taking Dragon.
Oh, God. That's a scary thought for me, at least. So a red buff has been started off here. Exactly. Karont3 starting off that red buff and are actually going to pick it up there. He actually used his smite there fairly early on to make sure that one, or fairly late on it actually was. A bit strange for me, that one, but we're going to be seeing the 2v2 actually coming into this top lane. And again, AD Cannon, not something that we see on the table every day of the week, but we did see Jimbones playing that in the LCS spring split here in Europe with Giants.
Well, Cannon is one of those unique characters that just, you can build anything on him. He's like Teemo, you can build absolutely anything on him and it will increase his effectiveness. There is no wrong choice. Karont3 going very low in the mid lane though.
Yeah, very low from that one. And I was just thinking, should I go back to that top lane? We're talking about that, and I should probably be there. But Neptuno really bullying out here. And that's because he's hit level 2 early on, putting down a lot of pressure onto Karont3, who will finally hit level 2 as well. Karont3 went with the Crystalline Flask plus pots from the start of this.
Yeah, not planning on pushing out at all, so why not just get absolutely tons of health? I mean, effectively, he's got 3 health bars to get through there, assuming he doesn't get bursted or ignited or something during that period of healing. But I don't think it's going to be easy exactly to dive at this point.
No, I don't think so. But you know, we should never count those things out either. And we see already that Karont3 again shredded down to half HP. This top lane, I should probably be expecting there with the range that Caitlyn has, that Forgiven has here. They're putting down a lot of pressure onto both Jimbones and Tremnek in that top lane. So doing a good job of things on that front. It's actually 17-9 CS as well, but we do see Elise coming in, flash away from the cocoon, but Unlimited, will he be lucky enough to get away? He uses flash, and they get back to the safety of that tower. And it was a kind of obvious gank once they started to push out from that tower being so far behind there, but they've managed to get away both flashes from the Copenhagen Wolves duo lane.
And that makes it really, really hard for...
Wow, flash in there from Tremnek. I wasn't expecting that, and I think they may have gone too deep in this one. Finally, Elise does get back to the party. Amazing was coming around the side as well, and I'll tell you what, this is all a little bit too close for comfort here in this top lane.
Yeah, this will now... I mean, Karont3 are pushing out, so it's unlikely they're going to stay in. They can go back and heal. But the fact that I was going to say before, just suddenly flash, grasping roots, and they may potentially get a catch as well there, and going to be fighting it.
Well, amazing showing that he's not scared right now of Elise, just making sure that Elise does walk away from that area. And in the top lane, as you said, it's allowed Karont3 a little bit of time to push out, but Copenhagen Wolves pushing this straight back, so they're trying to keep Karont3 in with this one, and Karont3 know it. We can see that Elise sticking around. There's a fear going down onto Jimbones. Plants came down right underneath the tower, and again, the jungler visiting this top lane just to make sure that wave doesn't keep getting pushed back.
Yeah, and Copenhagen Wolves right now want to be pushing really, really hard. They have a very strong pushing comp, but Zed is actually hanging around as well. They've got 4 men in the area, but they can't dive that. They just can't. I mean, Elise is an extremely strong diving jungler, but with that much potential for counter ganks, for damage, it's just not an option.
Not an option. Elise now finally moving back, and Karont3 here throwing down the silence on towards Neptuno, who honestly at level 5 at this point, Doran's Blade in there as well. Very, very scary possibilities, especially before Karont3 hits level 6. He's going to be open to this one, as we are going to see the Spider Link come out, flash away from the cocoon from Karont3.
Yeah, and that's kind of an acceptable loss for Karont3 at this point, because he's going to get Riftwalk fairly soon. There's still that potential. Elise and Zed are some of the only champions that can follow him through a Riftwalk. But it's, you know, he will have Riftwalk available. He will actually still have a dash, even though he has just lost his main Summoner's Rift.
Oh, amazing. Actually just walking in there to the jungle by Wraiths to have a bit of a party. And he will be forced straight back out of there. The lane that's been the quietest up until now is down in the bottom. Dragon versus Youngbuck, 42-31 CS. Youngbuck, we've seen him time and time again. I'll add a third one in there because, honestly, his Renekton is up there with the best of the best. I
mean, he is King Renekton. He was playing Renekton a long time before it was cool. But in mid.
Yeah, Karont3 here does get burst down. He's dead from this one. And there is the rappel coming out. And they managed to pick up that first kill. And we kind of saw that one happening there. Neptuno putting down masses of pressure constantly onto Karont3. The flash was burnt, and they decided as soon as Neptuno hit level 6 and had the death mark available that they were going to pin him down before he could escape.
And that's the other thing. Karont3 had not hit level 6. He didn't have that Riftwalk available, but potentially going, maybe not that teleport. He's got nothing.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one as well. I saw the low health coming in from Amazing. He'd started to move out, but Karont3, once they back away, he's got no flash to get in there. He'd not hit level 6 yet to get that Rift Walk going. So he's going to quickly push out this lane as fast as he can to hit that level 6 point, and there it is. So he has a Rift Walk available, and that'll make him feel a lot safer.
Quick, Shyvana, lock them down. Oh.
Yeah. No, you're not level 6 either.
No. And you're not behind him either. Oh well, Youngbuck actually is getting caught.
Yeah, getting caught out a bit there, just slicing and dicing his way through those minions, but he's got that Giant's Belt in there along with Cloth Armor, that Doran Shield. He is pretty tanky right now, considering that Jimbone's really not going to be doing too much damage with just that Vamp Scepter in there. I suppose especially if we compare him over to the other side. 59-45 CS is the lead that Forgiven has, and he's already got that BF sword up.
Yeah, that is the problem of running something like Kennen against Caitlyn. You're going aggressive again, but it's essentially just poke. It looks like he's all-inning, but unless he pops Dominus, it's actually not so serious. So that is the problem, and that's why we keep seeing these lane rotations. They're trying to make sure Jims gets farm, but against Caitlyn and Fiddlesticks, that's so difficult to do.
This mid lane now, we've got to keep an eye on it. Almost missed first blood earlier on. And Jason can be a testament to that. It's not easy, this camera work stuff. And I do wish we had an extra guy here to do that for us. But Karont3 again getting pretty much bullied out of that one. He put his full combo down onto Neptuno, but that didn't allow him to escape. This bottom side, Jimbone's still trying to keep up the pressure, but in the top lane, that range that we were talking about earlier from Forgiven, with that BF sword now added in, they managed to take the first tower of the game.
Yeah, and I do actually want to note, though, in spite of how dangerous it's been... Oh, Youngbuck in bot lane. Could be... No, he's not. I keep saying it. He keeps getting rooted, and I keep thinking, oh, but no, he's A, Youngbuck, and B, Renekton. It's not happening. So, Kassadin...
That might change now, though. That may just change now. Look at this. We see... Karont3, wow, pretty much just butchered his name right there. Either way, Youngbuck going to pop the Dominus, and they are going to dive all in onto this one. But Youngbuck actually still alive. He won't get away from the death mark, though. That will explode, and Neptuno does pick up the next kill of the game. Second one for him. Actually, no, sorry, that's a lie, because it was Karont3 who picked up the first one. Spanish names, English tongue, doesn't work out.
Econators.
Eco, yeah.
Econators. That's what that is named to me, and that's what it will always be. But Dragon going down now, not contested. This could be 2 towers in return, though, potentially. Malphite will probably hold on to the top lane, but certainly that mid one.
Yeah, mid one definitely going down here. Karont3 and Amazing with a big wave of minions there, able to take that one. And actually, Karont3 going to continue to push, and why not? Level 8, got Rift Walk, able to escape as soon as he spots any pressure coming in from Zed, and Neptuno does come off the side, gets rid of the minions, and that will force Karont3 to back away. So, some items coming in now from this one. We can see that both supports obviously going with the Ancient Coin here, and also Sightstone coming out early on there for Karont3.
Yeah, it's actually one of the things that's really interesting about competitive play is the value of the gold items depends on how much you value the active. If you think of, say, Face of the Mountain, that shield, based on your own health, shields a valuable target, that's quite useful. You know, think of the Spell Thief, I nearly said evolved version, too much Pokemon, but upgraded version of that is a slow. If you've got a dangerous bruiser, a Shyvana running at you, that's quite useful. Shirelia's active has always and probably will always remain the strongest active possible in this game, because a team-wide potential for engage or disengage is just so unbelievably valuable.
Yeah, that 40% movement speed, it really does make a difference, you know, whether it's about getting in there or maybe even more importantly, sometimes getting away from a team that's chasing you down. I think especially one that's got a Renekton and a Shyvana in there, just diving straight for you. But either way, Copenhagen Wolves pushing the duo down to this bomb side, and actually Amazing's there as well. And to be honest, they've got full positional advantage here. Karont3 have decided they want to reply to this with a mid turret. They've managed to stack up 4 men in the mid lane. Karont3 getting behind the safety of that turret, and we'll see if he's able to hold on. They're definitely taking that bottom lane, but will they be able to hold mid?
Well, Amazing is now rushing back there. I don't know if he bought Home Guard, but I would have thought he would if he could afford it. And it looks like Karont3 is actually just going to... No, he's not going near that.
No. Once the minions are gone, I think he realized, okay, they are more than strong enough right now to come straight at me. The question is, will they be able to push down or at least do good damage to the second turret? There's Neptuno taking the brunt of the damage. Amazing going to get Grasping Roots, and the ulti comes out of Jimbones. The death mark is on. That's not going to be enough to pop Amazing, but they've done a lot of damage here, starting to force them away. And we can see that Youngbuck has started to move down from this one, but Copenhagen Wolves have left their duo in the bottom lane, and they're going to pick up another tower just as they recall while Karont3 start to move away. So overall, you know, they've lost that middle outer turret. You don't ever really want to lose any middle turrets if you can help it, but taking both towers on the bottom lane, they'll be happy with that trade.
Yeah, and the other thing is that inner towers, I mean, they've always been more valuable than outer towers just because they're deeper and they give you more map control. But nowadays, they actually also give you more global gold. They shifted the balance of the way the gold is distributed, and when you've got 2 man pushing down that inner tower, not only is it giving the local gold to the people you really, really wanted to have, okay, support maybe not, but the AD carry the local gold, but you're also giving yourself that extra bonus gold. You're putting yourself a little bit further ahead, which you can see reflected in the total gold on both teams.
Let's have a look down the CS here as well. And we talked about this mid lane, Zed versus Kassadin. Now, yeah, a kill and assist for Neptuno on Zed, but in terms of CS, Karont3 has actually done a really fine job of keeping up to this one in a matchup where he should have been dominated in the early game in terms of how much farm he had.
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, he died as well in lane to a gank, and yet at the end of the laning phase, it's not that he's done really good lane rotations and caught up, but that way by clearing waves, he literally just came out of the lane with really good farm. And it's much the same thing you can see kind of at top as well. Youngbuck versus Malphite. Youngbuck, Renekton, synonymous in my head. Renekton versus Malphite in that top lane, that's a completely equal lane, and Youngbuck came out on top again.
So this mid lane going to be pushed out, and the three-man squad there right now for the Copenhagen Wolves. Ace in the hole actually going through. Neptuno will be the one to catch that one, and the Wolves just trying to force them away, and they may just be able to pull this one off. You know, there's 4 men there. As a Riftwalk comes down, there is Elise finally joining the party, but that's half of the health taken from this inner middle turret. That's a great move, a great single push from the Wolves.
Yes, indeed. And just 3 tower damage, walk away. You've also got some farm. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, a little bit caught out from this one, but he dragons, then flashes off into the river. Will stay safe. Okay, they don't get the blue buff that they may would have hoped for there. But it will be Eco that does pick that one up on Elise. Not the end of the world either with having a Zed in there who, you know, it's always nice to have that cooldown and what have you, which has actually been reduced by 10% from 20 to 10 in 3.14. So, no, maybe even more important for Elise in this patch than it is for Zed.
Arguably, yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where neither really has a lot of use for it. But obviously, it is experience, it is gold as well. So you don't want to just give it over, especially as well, you're not giving it to Karont3 is the other thing of keeping control of it yourself. Unless he dies with, which could happen. I'm not going to say it won't, but very nice call by Amazing to get himself out. But Karont3, they know where Kassadin's going to go.
Well, they're on top of a ward right now. They think they're being smart about this one, but this could be very dangerous. Actually, Unlimited find himself a little bit caught out, and there is the death mark coming in. Flash away from Unlimited. He will survive that death mark, and the rest of the team now coming in. Neptuno going very low. They're trying to escape this one as the ace in the hole goes through. Connects onto Jim Bones anyway. Amazing now continues to chase. He's got his ultimate available here. He can dive straight onto them if he needs to, but this honestly is going to be a whitewash fight. 4 men already down. Malphite manages to escape over the side, but that was just not a close fight.
Huge commitment from Karont3. They really wanted to get that pick off and then run away. But in so doing, because they've been sat on the ward for so long, Copenhagen Wolves were in position to just snap down on it. You saw Youngbuck and you saw Amazing both getting into the back lines, spewing out AoE damage over everything, and also teleport being used on the minion there to make it invulnerable, I think. And they now are getting that inhibitor tower. So just a beautiful, beautiful fight and setup, really.
And this is the Copenhagen Wolves that we know. I mean, Intel Extreme Masters clone, I hate to almost harp on about it, but that is where I think we've seen what we can judge the Wolves on coming into this one. That was their latest tournament against the biggest names, you can arguably say, and they did incredibly well for it, and it was their capitalization on not just errors from the other team, but plays that they'd made themselves that really made them stand out, and that right there was, again, a fine example of it.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves, you look at the way they play, and they look like an LCS team. I don't want to obviously call it ahead of time or anything, but they're just so smooth. They work together so well. It's really, really fun to watch. And well, at the moment, they are significantly ahead, but it's not beyond them at this point. Karont3, they do have quite a lot of potential in a team fight. They have the potential to nuke down important targets. They just can't let Shyvana and Renekton get in the back line again.
And there is another dragon taken, and this time for the Copenhagen Wolves. 28.3 thousand to 22.5. A 6,000 gold, basically, lead is what the Copenhagen Wolves have right now. And it's funny because it's only 17 minutes into this game. We've seen a lot of towers going down. Kills 4-2, not a massive amount at this point, but when they have come in, they've come thick and fast. I mean, let's look at that last fight. 4 kills. That's all of Copenhagen Wolves' fight from that from that last single fight.
Yeah, indeed. They are definitely pulling ahead at the moment, and I was actually just a little bit confused there for a second because Zyra was checking out the dragon, but she must have just been clearing the marker away. But that does mean actually they don't have the timer on it because it's clearly been dead for a while. Could potentially be an issue for them in the future. We will see if they're able to capitalize on that. But Copenhagen Wolves are, at the moment, getting the better of them in just straight-up lane rotations. Kind of almost no need to go for Dragon.
And if you look down the CS totals at this point as well, it tells a bit of a one-sided story. 140 to 107 in the top lane, 132 to 122 for Kassadin over Zed. and a 45 CS lead between the two AD carries. No kills just yet for Forgiven, but he was involved in all 4 of them before and got himself those assists.
And part of that is just because Copenhagen Wolves were really, really smart. They swapped Caitlyn up. They knew that Karont3 were going to do much the same. This could be bad for Amazing, though, getting caught out.
Well, I would say that if he wasn't Shyvana at this point, able to run away, and Karont3 going everything in here, and there we see the Dragon coming down, Fiddlesticks getting involved as well. There were the Stranglethorns towards the back, but Karont3 being shredded here by Youngbuck, and there is Karont3 coming in. Double kill for him. That's going to be another one going down. Actually, he was picked up by Renekton in the end, but the triple is finished off with a kill onto Elise, and that is an ace for nothing here for the Copenhagen Wolves. Karont3, twice now they've been caught in that area in the jungle, and twice they've paid.
Yeah, they just got torn apart. Karont3 didn't join the fight until the end there. He was not involved, so it was a 4v5 for most of the duration of that battle. And yet Copenhagen Wolves, they knew they would come out on top because they knew they were in the right position. Very confident play, very efficient play, and definitely starting to build up an alarming goal lead.
Youngbuck is now 2-1-5. Karont3 6-1-2. This is a guy that's now ahead in CS after giving up first blood and having a hard laning phase against the Zed as well. And that just shows you that Karont3, Kassadin, right now, Kassadin just in general, we often see when a Kassadin comes out that it plays a mid. I don't remember the last time I saw a Kassadin that I said, that was not good.
No, indeed. He is really strong. Basically, get through the laning phase and you have an amazingly powerful tool on your team there. That being said, they did change it a little bit, so he's actually better in cleanup scenarios like we saw before, where he's able to chain the Riftwalk stacks that you get from hitting people with Riftwalk, than he is going in right at the start of a fight, like maybe you used to see, where he could just jump in, burst someone's Zhonya's, and then wait for the team to follow up.
Well, cleanup, I think he's fine for Karont3 at this point. 6-1-2 after 2 fights going the way of the Copenhagen Wolves. And finally, a kill on the board for Forgiven, who is now sat at 1-0-5, adding in that static shiv to his Infinity Edge from earlier on as well. That's a scary Caitlyn, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you can compare that to Kennen, who has yet to finish the Infinity Edge. Does have a Vamp Scepter, but at this stage of the game, sustain isn't really that big of an issue.
He's in the hole actually going through there as Dragon here going to be harassed down a little bit, and actually they're going to go in towards Karont3, who will flash away. Deathmark, of course, going to go off, but really not doing anywhere near as much damage as Neptune, who has to do with that Deathmark in a fight.
And he's still got his Flask. He's actually sustaining up a little bit here, but I don't think they can afford to let this inhib fall for free.
Oh, there is the unstoppable force coming in. Dragon at the back. Stranglethorn's going to go down. Will be pretty good for them as well, but honestly, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to lock the Wolves down from this one. A very mobile team starting to move away, and in the end, Amazing crawls out in Dragon form. Yes, they lost their AD carry. They took down Dragon in the end. It was a good unstoppable force, but Karont3 don't have much to follow up with.
Yeah, but hey, it's not like he had a kill streak. They didn't get Karont3 in that situation, and that could have potentially been, you know, the goal difference to start maybe equalizing between the two of them. It's not the end of the world there that Forgiven died for Copenhagen Wolves. It may start to look like the end of the world for Karont3 that they just lost their inhib. They were already being out-rotated. Now they have to contend with the superior split-pushing power from Kassadin, the fact that the super minions are in the mid lane, and the fact that there is a very fast Baron clear. I don't know if I've said those words before. From Copenhagen Wolves. This is just such a conglomeration of factors now that's starting to get really ugly for Karont3.
Yeah, we can see a couple of switches up here in the trinkets as well. I think that's something that we have to keep an eye on as to how that all develops. And because we are at the earliest possible stages, really, of competitive play in the pre-season patch, so we're definitely going to be seeing some changes, I think, just throughout this 3-day tournament that we've got here online going into promotion, you know, where teams finally start to figure out when they're playing at their hardest, at their, you know, most concentrated, how they change things up and how other teams are doing it as well.
Yeah, because I mean, this is what, the first major 3.14 event? You could argue maybe Insomnia in the UK, actually Karont3 in bottom lane, possibly.
Yes, he is. Well, he's going to actually get through the death mark there, thanks to that Zhonya's Hourglass, but I'm not sure that he's going to escape. He gets stunned up by Jimbones, who will get into range. Silence is down, and it's Neptuno that finishes off to finally shut down Kautar. But in the meantime, they started to push off towards this inner turret in the top lane. Dragon is there. He's pretty tanky, got that Sunfire cape, and also the cowl in as well, but they don't care about him. They just want the turret.
Yeah, but free turret, they take that, and now they have the potential to chase down Malphite, but the thing is they kind of have to do that, because if they don't, he's going to abduct the minion line, which would be a bit difficult to push with.
Well, he's kind of running away from this one. As long as they can keep him away from the fight, having unstoppable force out of there will be a bonus for the Copenhagen Wolves. That's really the only chance I think we saw from them in that last fight. Was a good start off, a good initiation with that unstoppable force coming down. This time around though, Malphite has finally got himself back, but the fight in the mid could kick off here. Unlimited has come in. The teleport will come down from Kautar as well, and there is the ulti over the wall. They're gonna go down for Zyra, who gets feared right into the rest of the team, and Dragon finally, as I said, making himself back, is at the front here, but he's down to half HP already. Ace in the hole going to come through. They want to kill off the tanky Malphite, and they managed to kill him off as well. That leaves a 3 versus 5. The tank down, the massive crowd control from Zyra down as well. This could be Baron for the Wolves.
And that was a funny, like, almost synchronization thing on Copenhagen Wolves' part. They actually, 3 members walked onto Stranglethorns there, and you saw them thinking, can we burst Zyra? All 3 of them turned just like an inch away, and then suddenly went, actually, no, we can burst her as long as we focus our fire, take her down. They all moved like almost like one unit, and it was really interesting to see. But Elise is potentially going to go for the steal. If she could get it, that could be a really big windfall for them, but just a bit difficult.
No. Not going to be able to get into range for this one. That Baron, you see the health bar in the bottom left there. Kautar actually holding back over by the blue buff, and that will be the Baron going over to the Copenhagen Wolves. No counter pushing really able to come out here either for Karont3 whilst that was happening. They're going to have themselves a Dragon, which, you know, that's also obviously changed as the overall leveling game increases. Is worth more gold. So whereas before we'd say at points, you know, why are they still thinking about doing Dragon here? It's always a bonus now.
Yeah, even as it was though, at this point, why not? I mean, you've got a good minute of time. You know your opponents are pushed back into their base. You know what your next move is going to be, and it's going to be that middle inhib, potentially with some split push from Kautar. But they know what they're doing, they know why they want exactly what they want, and they know that this is going to help them hit a couple more item breakpoints. We've got 3 item Caitlyn now. So, yeah, this is now starting to look like they're just getting sort of preparing themselves. And
we should have probably looked through some of the items from this one as well, and in particular the support, because they're the ones that have obviously really had those big changes in. We'll start off with Zyra actually going for the Aegis of the Legion, that Sightstone from earlier, the Ancient Coin from earlier on as well. Now if we compare that over to Fiddlesticks on the other side for the Copenhagen Wolves, needlessly large rod, got the upgraded Sightstone, got himself the Seeker's Armguard. He's well on his way to that Zhonya's Hourglass, plus he's already up at the Nomad's Medallion.
Yeah, indeed. Fiddlesticks benefiting from the kind of split push he was doing with Caitlyn earlier. He actually got a little bit more gold from that, and also is just building now to crush people. Because once he's got that Zhonya's, if the game goes on that long, I hate to say it, but if it does, then he's going to be another huge threat. Karont3's getting caught.
Fear there going in towards Elise, and, well, dead. The entire combo coming through there, and that will be the inhibitor taken with absolute ease by the Copenhagen Wolves. They've got the bottom lane pushing in from this one as well. Malphite had gone down to try and stop that wave pushing in, but they were a little bit too far past the steps for him to safely get out there and get them all taken down, and the Wolves just basically going to shoehorn their way into the second inhibitor. Kautar goes in, takes Jimbones down to half HP with 1 burst. The inhibitor is going to be falling down straight away after this one as well.
And remember, Karont3's like one trick, this is the one thing their comp does, and it does incredibly well, is engage. But right now, they just can't. Unless Copenhagen, unless Forgiven is tanking the tower and Malphite can ult on him and they can burst him down with Zed, there's just nothing that they can do. They just have to watch as they gradually chip down with this big minion wave that's coming up, and they can try and wave clear, they can try and slow the process down, but Karont3 are so up against it. Maybe they can wait out the Baron buff. It's going to be a tall order.
a massively tall order, I think, as Ace in the Hole goes through. Jimbones will have it blocked there by Elise. Lucky enough for him, because that would have probably taken at least half of his health away. And the Wolves just sit on the steps to the base. One inhibitor is all that stops them pushing through right now. There's a scan from Unlimited to reveal the wards coming in. And the second one, no, not quite. Oh, well, there's another scan anyway from Amazing. They got two. They can clear out everything that's been thrown at them from the backside of the wall. The inhibitor turret is already being shredded down here by the Wolves. And Karont3, they have to fight this one at some point.
I mean, they have to, but they can't. It's lose-lose.
Maybe now. Oh, Karont3 using that Zhonya's, and we see how low Zyra goes, how quickly as well. Jimbone's at the back trying to do his best. Neptuno goes down without even using the Deathmark, and the Copenhagen Wolves here picking up the third and final innings. Unlimited flashing in there with the ultimate running. They're going to work themselves straight in on towards those Nexus turrets. Forgiven, hammering down. Karont3 picks up the kill in the end. Eco does get back on towards the fountain, but he's now the last man standing in this one. This is going to be the end of this, and the Copenhagen Wolves pick up their first victory tonight, taking down Karont3. Half an hour, let's call it, this game. 17-4 in kills, 20,000, over 20,000.